Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. Organisers of the Sydney Hobart are standing by their decision to send the fleet sailing into treacherous waters after the deaths of 2 sailors on separate yachts. Both men were hit and killed by swinging booms, but the race is pressing ahead and even bigger seas await those still racing. Well, cautious of sending boats out into those same treacherous conditions, Launceston to Hobart organisers were taking a safety-first approach, making a rare decision to delay the start by several hours.
Instead of the typical hustle of a race morning, today at Beauty Point, a sense of calm, spurred on by conditions that were anything but. A waiting game with eyes to the sky, the starter's gun for the Launceston to Hobart postponed, hoping a change of tide would make for a smoother trip out of the Tamar River.
Not very often, very rare, and it's a hard decision to make, but we've been complimented by the majority of competitors because they were a bit worried about it as well.
From team briefings to last-minute adjustments, crews were making the most of the extra time at dock.
Just making sure everything's ready on the boat, and we've got a few new crew this year as well, so it's more time to probably get used to the crew and meet a few new faces on the boat before we get stuck into racing.
The overnight Sydney-Hobart tragedy is weighing heavily on competitors and race officials. The Porco Rosso, which had a crew member overboard, won light honours in this race last year.
It's in the back of everybody's mind. No doubt some of the competitors will know the people that we've lost. It's a sailor's nightmare for that to happen.
Eventually, the 11-strong fleet was off and racing mid-afternoon, and if the conditions on the river, 10 k's from open water, are anything to go by, they're in for a wild ride.
We still would like to be able to have time to get to Bank Strait in daylight, because there's a lot of tide against the wind there, and it is treacherous water there.
Fork in the Road soaring to an early lead, favourite to claim its 10th line honours if it can survive the treacherous waters along the way.
I've got an experienced team on the boat, and that's our aim. We're from Hobart, so we have to get there at some stage.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
And those ferocious winds have been felt on land across Tasmania's south and southeast, with gusts up to 140 kilometres an hour recorded at Canunny, Mount Wellington this morning. Meteorologists say the winds were erratic in Hobart before easing slightly this afternoon.
I was watching the trees on Liverpool Street, and they were blowing an easterly and then fluctuating to a westerly wind, pushing them in the other direction.
The Bureau warning another front is likely to hit, but it is expected to be less damaging. The public is warned to beware of damaged trees and power lines. Well, 2 families are grieving the loss of their loved ones after the deaths of 2 people in separate crashes in the state within 24 hours. The tragedy is prompting a renewed call from police to slow down and obey the rules as we head into a busy New Year's period.
A young woman dead, believed to have suffered a medical episode behind the wheel of her SUV, crashing into a car yard on Perth's main road just before 10 this morning.
A silver Honda CRV has mounted the curve, taken out a road sign and hit 2 cars. Unfortunately, a lady who aged in her 30s from Perth died at the scene.
This morning's fatality, the second on Northern Midlands roads in less than 24 hours. A 70-year-old motorcyclist died after colliding with a ute at Longford yesterday afternoon.
Part of the investigation we'll be looking at speed, we'll be looking at inattention, we'll be looking at the vehicles and road conditions.
Police are using these latest fatalities to plead with drivers to slow down and take care over the holiday period, saying they'll be out in force over the coming days, with young drivers firmly in their sights.
Young drivers are just plainly inexperienced, and quite often they think they can drive better than what they actually can. There are restrictions on there for young drivers in relation to alcohol, in relation to speed, in relation to the number of passengers they can carry. That's there for a reason.
Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Revellers are encouraged to ditch their cars and take advantage of public transport this New Year's Eve. Half-price bus fares and extra night rider services will be on offer for partygoers across Hobart, Burnie and Launceston.
In Hobart, we're putting on an additional 42 services. In Launceston, we're doing about a bit over 30, and in Burnie, about 20. So we're encouraging people to jump on board.
It's hoped the incentive will help Tasmanians have a fun but safe night. Hobart's waterfront is about to get a whole lot busier with Taste of Summer starting tomorrow. Organisers adding finishing touches today, promising visitors a treat with live music, children's entertainment and some of Tasmania's finest flavours.
It may be quiet now, but come tomorrow, Hobart's Prince's Wharf will come alive, with revellers set to swarm the waterfront for the Taste of Summer festival.
It's been months of hard work that all feel like it's all coming together, and everyone's pretty pumped and excited for tomorrow.
Producers are putting finishing touches to their tasty delights, ready to showcase some of the state's top tastes.
It's been pretty hectic, but I really enjoy being at the waterfront this time of the year.
This year's offering 75 vendors, 17 joining the mouth-watering lineup for the first time. And there's something for everyone, including for pint-sized foodies.
A dedicated kids' play space, Little Hobart, which is on Salamanca lawns. There's a whole range of activities throughout the week.
The festival giving local producers vital exposure.
We're surrounded by some of the absolute cream of the crop of Tasmanian producers, both food and wine. A lot of great mates. It's going to be a good time.
It's our first big festival, so hopefully a really great injection of interest for our brand.
More than 85,000 people, some travelling from afar, expected to pass through the gates.
So it's about 30% of those are interstate. It's Tasmanians from all across the state that make their way down to the waterfront.
A major boost to visitor numbers, helping to keep our tourism sector strong.
The airport's certainly humming. It's very full this time of year. Around 11,000 people a day are moving through our doors.
The gates officially open at 12 noon tomorrow. Rebecca Gadaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
A daring attempt to break the world speed record for a penny farthing has been blown due to Tasmania's weather. It was to be a highlight of today's athletics and cycling carnival in Hobart before turning to bitter disappointment.
Lizanne Wilmot's hopes were high of taking not one but 2 Guinness World Marks. But it was the wind smashing Newtown Oval that broke her chance of breaking records.
Any chance? No, not at all.
With hopes of hitting the asphalt flailing in the tempest, cycling officials made the call that all bikes, penny farthings included, wouldn't be taking to the track.
Disappointed, like they've just called it, and a small part of me is just going, thank God, because the wind conditions were that little bit of a concern.
Canadian-born but an Aussie biking champ, her experience at steering the historic velocipedes was still not enough to give Lizanne confidence that she'd stay on the track and not join the crowd over the fence.
But when you get a wind gust, it's incredibly unpredictable. It can come from any direction and blow you any which ways.
We have some of the best athletes in the world riding at breakneck speeds without brakes and with fixed-wheeled bikes, and the last thing they need is to be moved sideways by strong gusty winds.
While Lizanne is incredibly disappointed to not be able to head out onto the velodrome in Hobart today, the Australian penny farthing champ has another shot at breaking the world record in Burnie on New Year's Eve.
So hopefully the weather gods actually do come to the party a little bit and have nicer conditions and let me actually get the records.
A New Year's wish to pedal into the history books. Stacey Eldridge, 7 Tasmania News.
The Launceston to Hobart, the fleet is just passing Bridport on their way around the northeast coast on a mission to get through the treacherous waters of Banks Strait before nightfall. Hobart-based Fork in the Road is right now about 8 nautical miles clear of second place Scaramouche, which is in a 3-way battle with Ordeer and Pryon. The Hurricanes have a chance tonight to prove their 8-wicket victory over the Scorchers wasn't a one-off and put themselves into the finals bracket with a win over the 5th-placed Strikers in Adelaide. Tiger Charlie Wakeham is expected to receive his purple cap, named in a 14-man squad in place of Matthew Wade, who's still out with a calf injury sustained in the season opener. That match is on straight after the news. Devonport runner Logan James is this year's Hobart gift winner, beating 5 other athletes from across the nation in the final of the 100-metre sprint. Queenslander Amelia Search, the clear winner in the women's in her first crack at Tas Carnivals. The runners hogging the action thanks to the cancellation of all cycling events, with wild wind wreaking havoc at Newtown Oval. Meanwhile, in Launceston, 19-year-old Kira Wheel was best of the elite women at the Gilmore Cycling Classic last night. The Commonwealth Games youth medalist from New South Wales notching up 30 kilometres in just under 50 minutes. 25-year-old Japanese cyclist Shui Matsuda clinching top place in the men's. Each winner rides away with more than $7,000 in prize money. Breakers star Parker Jackson Cartwright will front an NBL tribunal tomorrow to answer a charge of mishandling a game official over this nasty incident in the final minutes of their Christmas night clash with the Jackies. Tasmanian forward Ruben Turungi, who also played a starring role in the melee, has to choose between a one-match suspension or a $1,500 fine for unruly rough play. And that's all from me, Kim, and all for a few weeks. I know you're going to miss me dearly, but I will be back after my holiday, don't worry.
Look, you got something special planned, have you, Nick?
Oh, Kim, you know I do, and I just want to say thank you very much for this present. I will treasure it.
Good, our Nick is getting married. Congratulations to you and Lays, and enjoy a wonderful honeymoon. We'll see you back at the end of the month. We'll take a break and then Jackie will join us with the latest weather forecast. Good evening. There were damaging northwest to westerly winds across the south and east of the state today, with Launceston reaching a high of 21 degrees, 20 across Hobart and Devonport, 19 in Burnie. 24 was the state's top in Friendly Beaches, 19 across Flinders Island and Smithton and 17 in Strawn. Mostly cloudy conditions are seen across the west and far south of Tasmania today, with partly cloudy conditions elsewhere. Further out, extensive areas of thunderstorms extend from the Kimberley across central Northern Territory and into Queensland. A cold front is crossing southern Tasmania tomorrow, with showers seen across the north and west during the morning. A gale warning is current in the south-west coast and a strong wind warning from the far northwest coast right around to the central west coast. Tomorrow's forecast now: Hobart 19, showers across Medina and Oatlands. In the north, Launceston showers, Devonport showers clearing, 13 in Lyweenie. 19 in Burnie tomorrow, showers easing in Strawn, Marrawar 17 and showers. 20 across St Helens and Swansea and a shower or two in Orford. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now: Sunday showers about the west and far south, isolated showers elsewhere. Monday, light showers across the west and far south. And Tuesday, showers mostly across the west and south in the morning. Capital cities 32 and sunny in Perth tomorrow. A shower or two developing in Melbourne and 32 in Cairns. And currently Hobart partly cloudy and 16, Launceston 19 degrees and Devonport mostly clear and 17. That's all in weather, Kim. Okay, thank you, Jackie. That is all your news for now. Stay tuned though, the Big Bash is next and it's the Canes taking on the Strikers in Adelaide. Thanks for joining us. Good night.